Good evening and welcome to the Whiskey Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief, and tonight we are talking about an Irish whiskey, a 22-year-old Irish whiskey, a peated Irish whiskey, and it is affordable. Well, it's all a relative concept, affordability, but for me, this one, 22-year-old, at a reasonable 146 euros. Compared to the previous video about the Springbank 21 that's going up to 2,000 euros now. This is cheap as chips. Now, I was quite excited to give this one a nosing and a tasting. It is an independent bottled whiskey. It is bottled here in Belgium by a company called the Daily Dram. And this is a bottle series that they produced. It's called the Nectar of the Daily Dram. So quite excited, a little bit of a strange whiskey, a little bit of a, well, apparently not so difficult to find. And I was quite excited when I did my walkabout. And in one of the shops, the guys told me, listen, if you want to taste something that is absolutely fantastic and affordable, try this one. Now, I was a little bit skeptical. I also saw the same bottle the previous trip to that shop and didn't know anything about it, so I just bypassed it. Love the label. It is affectionately known as the Maria label. So I love the simplicity of the design of the label. Not a lot of information on the label as well, as you can see. They also don't tell you who's the distillery, so there's not a lot of information on the label. They tell us it's distilled in Ireland, 22 years old. It is a peated Irish single malt whiskey, the Nectar of the Daily Dram, and they have distilled in 2001 and bottled in 2023 and distilled in Ireland, product of Ireland, and they give us a 54.4% ABV, and I can only assume natural color and non-chill filtered, but of course they don't give that information. It is just one front label, nothing on the back, but quite excited and really interested in this one, considering that one of the store clerks, he said, you have to try it, you have to do a review on it. Well, I comply with instructions like that. And of course, I've mentioned the price already. I think I've made a mistake, can't remember, but it's 168 euros available. And yeah, how do they do it? How do they make a 22-year-old whiskey? How do they still make money out of it? If it's possible, how is it not possible that Springbank and all of these ridiculously expensive whiskies cannot do the same? So yeah, on the whiskey, I did pour it some time ago, and I did try it yesterday as well. Couldn't help myself. It is a lovely light golden color, 22 years old. You can imagine that, well, I was a little bit surprised on the lightness of the color. So the cask, well, not sure about the cask that they use. I presume this is ex-bourbon cask. And of course, I can only imagine that the cask was, well, it's a little bit worn out already to only impart such a light golden color to it. There is a little bit of a oiliness, a little bit of a viscosity. You can see the slow legs forming down the glass. So there is a hint of a oiliness to it. Now, of course, we need to drink it. The nosing and the tasting, best part of any video. Cheers. Now, the first thing that I do pick up is that it's peated, but not overly peated. Very low, maybe 10 parts per million on the phenols. It's sweet. There's a tanginess to it. And I get a little bit of a licorice note. I get some apples, pears. I get a little bit of a oak and a little bit of a oak dusty note on it. The alcohol at that high ABV, definitely it's there, but it is rounded. It's soft. It's got no of that jagged edges that just tickles the nose. But you definitely, with a little bit of an agitation, you do wake it up, but it is still nice, friendly, and not really putting a punch to the nose. But I do detect a little bit of a spicy note on it as well. There's a little bit of a mixture of a ginger and a shortbread. I think in my imagination, if you combine the two and you bake it, you get that little gingery shortbread sweetness note coming out. And a little bit of a nutty note also, a little bit of a toasted nut. And a little bit of a vanilla ice cream note, a vanilla cream note coming out. That is really nice. And of course, that smoke level, it is so light that over a very short period of time, it feels like it's disappearing and you're not getting that. All that sweetness coming out then, that caramel note, maybe a little bit of that vanilla note coming out, that fresh fruit coming out. And you tend to push the smoke flavors a little to the back, which I kind of like, my type of whiskey. A little bit of that caramel note pushing to the front, and I get a little bit of a banana bread. Just after you've mixed it and you put it into the oven, it's just starting to rise. You get a little whiff of a banana. I get that on the nose as well. Really nice. So on the taste, cheers. Oh my word. Now I can tell you, this is fantastic. It's oily, it's sweet, and you definitely get that little bit of that smoke, that little bit of that peat. It's sweet peat, it's savory peat. It is not medicinal. It is just a lovely, lovely sweet peat note, caramel, that apples, that red apples, pear note, fresh fruit notes coming out. Let me just try again. Cheers. Oh my word, it is lovely sweet, a little caramelly, a little creamy note, and that peat is definitely there, but it is so mellowed, it is so relaxed. It's not trying to dominate anything, and it is just giving an additional note to all this light, friendly notes in it. The alcohol, high ABV, I was thinking it's going to be a little bit too strong. It drinks like a 45, maybe 46% ABV at best, and it is just lovely. It's dangerous. I think you are going to sit back, relax. You are going to enjoy this one, maybe a little bit too much. It's going to go down like water, but definitely going to kick you if you don't be very careful with this one. It is really, really nice. From nose to taste, love it. Now, I was expecting a little bit of a tannin, a little bit of a bitter note. Just want to make sure. Absolutely nothing. No bitter notes, no tannins, no that bitter coffee note. Any of those off-putting notes in some of the whiskies. Sometimes it's good to bring down the sweetness of the whiskey, but for me, this one is perfect. Now, do I add water? For me, as it is, I will not add water. I don't like to ruin a whiskey with water. Some people say it will open it up. If you want to add a drop of 2 of water, go ahead, do it. For me, it is just perfect the way it is. And of course, I have the opportunity to put a drop or 2 in it and drink it the way you want. For me, it's perfect like it is. So that's me on a 22-year-old Irish whiskey, €168. Are you willing to pay that? Are you willing to pay for a fantastic sample? Are you willing to buy a whiskey and this one you hide away in the cupboard? You don't want to share this one. It is really fantastic, and I would encourage you, if you get an opportunity, to give this one a try. Go for it. You are not going to be, you're going to be a happy person. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. All the money goes to the kids in South Africa. If you want to donate, there is always some button that you can press, donate, and of course, we support people. So thank you very much, and I see you next time. Cheers.